What is going on, guys? A little bit of a different look for you guys tonight. I am Clint Bartlett. I'm going to be hosting tonight. We got a special guest in the house, Jake Maddux over here, and he is a bass head. Some would say a bassin' bro. We got Purrs in the house running the boards, and we're here to have a good time. So Danny Conda is down playing with some snakes in Puerto Rico. So he left us the reins somehow. I don't know why he gave us the keys to this ship, but here we are, and we're going to have a good time doing it. So we're going to talk about some offshore fishing. We're going to talk about some ledge fishing, scoping, not scoping, having some fun, catching some bass, having a good time, throwing some swim baits, all the goodies. We're going to talk about some fun. But first, let's get to our sponsors for the night. Starting out, we got Trent Palmer and the boys at Sonar Pros over there. They do a great job. They rig my boat. They rig our boats. Go where the pros go. Go to Sonar Pros. They'll do it right. I was talking to him today, and he was getting some stuff rigged up for Justin Kimmel last minute, going out the door to the MPFL. Like, he takes care of his guys. They'll take care of him, and it's a good relationship with Fish North Georgia. Next up, we got Kevin Underwood with Lipsticker Fishing. Go get on some megalodons. Go catch some big ones on Lake Lanier. He's an awesome guide, an awesome guy. He can learn a lot. Go check out his Patreon at Kevin at lipstickerfishing.com, or his Patreon is patreon.com/lipstickerfishing. Go get on some biggins. Evolve rod sleeves, best rod sleeve on the market. It floats. It doesn't get hooks in it. It's super sturdy. I've got them on every single stick in my boat, and if I don't have one on it, it feels naked and afraid. So definitely check that stuff out. They make some cool bags and stuff too, like tackle storage. They make sleeves for your trolling motor cables, for your the back of your motor, a cover for your live scope transducer, all kinds of good stuff. So go check out those boys and make good product. American company.
They got awesome. The reel covers out now too.
Yep, reel covers, fresh release out. So those things are pretty sweet. And they're like a 3D printed version for some specific reels. It's pretty legit. Protect your stuff. And speaking of protecting your investments, if you invested in any type of lure like we all have, you want to get it back if it gets hung in a pile. So the Money Saver Lure Retriever, it's the sexiest little torpedo that will get your lure back. Send that thing down the line and get a hold of your bait back. Bill Payne Guide Service, he is a living legend out there. Go on Allatoona. He'll take you out on an awesome trip. Go catch a bunch of spotted bass. He also does it's about the season where he'll go do some smallmouth trips as well. Go have some fun with him. He literally has more knowledge than all of us combined, and go learn a lot and go have a good time. He's an awesome guy. Next up, we got Brooks Anderson Fishing, our young gun, the homie with the flow. He's been catching some fish lately. He's competing. If you got a younger high school, college, and you just angler and you want to teach them about catching some big spotted bass, fishing fast on a herring fishery, Brooks is your guy. He makes some awesome content. Check out his YouTube stuff, and he's just a good time. He's good people, and I'm happy to call him a friend. And me and him got to go fishing again sometime. It's been too long. And next up, we've got Rob Robluski. So it's one of our newer sponsors lately. And so he's got big league charters up there in Knoxville, Tennessee. So he's offering some guide trips up there, all those lakes around there, Cherokee, Douglas, in that area. He's an awesome fisherman. He's fishing the MPFL, doing all kinds of fun stuff. Get out there, go learn something from him as well. We love all of our guides around here, and they've always supported this show, so we want to support them. So the biggest thing with our guides is pick one, try it. Like, you can only get so many references. Like, not every guide is going to be right for you, but just go pick one, try it, see what you like. You're going to learn something every single time you go out on the water. You could not catch a fish, and you're going to take away some value from that. But these guys are good, so you're going to catch some fish, and it's going to be a good time. Fishers of Hope, our buddies over there, their mission is to glorify God and be servants of his word, to bring those in need peace and hope that he can only bring. These guys are awesome. Go check out what they do. They're always supporting the community. They're always supporting the show, and they're just good people. Moving on. And so if you guys want to advertise here with old Danny's mug over there and Father Time over here, we're wishing him well as well, like praying for speedy recovery. And he's doing well. But if you guys want to advertise here, email Danny at fngo.com. Check him out. And we'd love to represent. We want to work with these good people. We already have some awesome sponsors, and maybe you're the next one. So thank you guys for supporting the show. So we're going to get right into it and have some fun. Let's check out the comments. We got Luke Turner out there, Tony Collum, Coleman Jones. If I don't know, hang on, pull up. If I don't know how to shake a minnow after this episode, I'm going to need a refund, son. We can talk some minnow shaking. That's one of my favorite techniques. And I feel like you shake a minnow a little bit, right?
I dabble. Yeah.
Dabble in the
minnows. I know
minnows.
a thing or two about minnow.
Good. Look at Kevin Thornton. He's in the comments too. Heck yeah. Welcome back. Welcome back, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Doc Holiday in the comments. Good evening, guys. So what we're going to do, we're going to get right into it. And just tell us, let's give us a little backstory. What's the first bass and bug you got to really just cause this whole train of you being a bass and bro?
So, growing up, fished a bunch of neighborhood ponds.
Where'd you grow up?
Birmingham, Alabama. So grew up in Birmingham, surrounded by probably the mecca of bass fishing, I would say.
100%.
Birmingham. There's a lot of, big tournament lakes around there. But it started up, just pond fishing, neighborhood ponds, catching bluegill and that kind of stuff. Remember catching a big bass though. I didn't catch it. Tried to eat my bluegill, reeling it in, and
gotcha.
After that, it
just gave you that. It showed itself, right?
I was like, these things are pretty sick. Like once I saw kind of their predatory, aggressive behavior, I was like, these things are awesome. I want to try to catch these instead of brim. So that's where it started, and then just started doing the ranks of high school fishing. Didn't have a boat, so fished with people that did have a boat. Then ended up me and my brother were getting into it, and it was something my dad started to like to do too. So we kind of all got into it as a family and just started. We had no idea how to fish, so we started just doing that together, and now we're fishing bass and bros.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So like in those early days of fishing, like what's a technique that you adopted pretty early? Like what are you dragging a shaky head? Was it a drop shot? Was it a wacky worm? Like, or was it a fluke? Like there's so many different things.
It was definitely like reaction stuff. Like for sure, like cranking was a big thing for me. Spinner baiting was probably like one of my favorite things to do. But like where I grew up, like swim jig was number one, like fishing grass.
It is hard to beat.
Yeah. So that was like number one. Everyone in Alabama was born with braid or rod in their hand. So swim jig, frog, and flip. If they didn't bite those three things, and I just wasn't going to catch anything.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and not so much anymore, but
things have changed a little bit.
But that's what we did.
You can still catch them doing it though. That's the biggest thing that people don't understand is they're like we're not having problems with crankbait sales because of certain things. It's like these techniques are just evolving. We're all evolving with the times. And it's like, it's cool to see like how think about going back 40 years from now and taking just the fishing technology we have as far as equipment or like, I'm talking just rods, reels, baits, that kind of stuff. Like think about how much more advanced our techniques are now than they were back then. Like think about how crazy that would be to go back, like no electronics, no nothing, just like with a worm that actually looks good or these different colors and things like that. Like it's cool to think about.
For sure. It definitely is pretty cool. And like just all the cool tackle trends now, like we're in a renaissance period of tackle sales.
For sure.
Everyone thinks that, hard baits aren't selling, but they obviously are. This is probably this year in particular is probably more major national tournaments won on crankbaits than
100%
in probably the last 5 years. So
and this is and last year everybody's saying that the crankbait's dead and nobody's ever going to buy them anymore. And it's cool to see like how the tournament industry is affected, but it's also the tournament industry is so small in the scheme of things. Like you look at all the fishing licenses out there, there's like 5% of them are tournament guys, maybe 10, maybe a little bit bigger, but still like it's not that much. It's pretty cool to think about. But like, so you're swim jigging, you're frogging, you're doing all that fun stuff. What brings you to a herring fishery?
So my wife's job, actually. So she works at Newell. They used to own Pure Fish, but she's in, over like Sharpie, Rubbermaid, ball, mason jars, like all that stuff. So we moved here. I wanted to live around Tournament Lake. She's from almost New York City. So she wouldn't want to move out to Guntersville or Eufaula. Eufaula was number one. That's where I wanted to move. But then Atlanta offered a great tournament lake and really close to a lot of other tournament lakes. And, fishing the opens, trying to make it, need to be around a lot of different types of fisheries. So Atlanta was a good spot for us. We live just north of Atlanta. So lived here for about year and a half now, 2 years now, and
nice.
We love it. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So fishing Lanier, and when you're thinking offshore fishing, like I want us to talk a bit, like we always talk about Lanier, and we'll talk about it some, but like I want to talk about some of the stuff in Alabama as well. And like offshore fishing on Lanier is obviously different than a Guntersville or a TVA lake or something like that.
Yeah. So like just the presence of herring is the number one. There's two different reasons that like make this fishery fish different. Basically, the lack of flats. Lanier is definitely more long taper points and deep water, and then obviously herring. So makes them act more pelagic. Everyone knows that lives around here, knows that sort of thing. But you take like Eufaula, it has tons of flats. It has tons of spawning area. It has tons of grass. There's not a ton of current out there. Those fish still group up in places. So there's definitely different, even being the same river system, Eufaula and Lanier. It's crazy to think about. They're both Chattahoochee River lakes.
That is wild.
But it goes to show you how diverse where we live at. Like Alabama, Georgia is probably some of the most biodiverse parts of the country. You can go fish tidal water, you can go fish Highland Reservoir, you can fish Herring Lake, you can fish grass, you can flip hydrilla, you can fish docks, you can do fish current, you can do a whole lot of different stuff kind of within 2 or 3 hours of where we're at right now. So
exactly, like it's a diverse area. You have everything's at your fingertips, right? It's like all you have to do is get in the truck and drive.
Yeah, no
but
doubt.
I feel like people do get stuck just fishing their home lake. So like being able to get out and go fish Chickamauga, go fish Lanier, go fish somewhere different, like that's super important for us to grow as anglers. Because if you keep fishing the same home pond all the time, you're not going to grow.
Yeah,
like you look at some of these guys that have fished around Lanier a long time, and then they started traveling the country with high school, college, and then fishing the opens and things like that. You look at like Emil and Paul, and now they're fishing at the highest level and doing well. Like it's awesome to see them. They're not just herring guys, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Like they've been able to go branch out, and like if they would have just stayed at Lanier all the time, they'd just be herring guys.
Yeah,
but
good
it's
herring
cool.
guys, but you need to be diverse. So that's cool.
And so you got a little bit of that diversity on the other side of the herring.
Yeah.
Before you got into the herring fishing. So like,
yeah,
how do you like to herring fish offshore, like this time of year?
So here, like on Lanier, it's more run and gun, like topwater, fluke, Sabile, several different baits. I like to fish fast, so that's kind of cool. I get to use some like my favorite like reaction style, moving fast kind of techniques that I would do anyways, fishing shallow back home or even fishing deep back home. But do that on a herring lake. It kind of fit kind of my wheelhouse. My true home lake ended up getting some herring in it, so I kind of got exposed, high school a little bit to some herring stuff. But it was nothing like Lake Lanier, like nothing. Like it was. They started to kind of act like it and do herring stuff. Spots started to get big, but then we had some fish killed and stuff, and whatever. Lake Martin, it's still a ton of fish in there, just not a lot of herring. So fish size definitely shrunk down. So.
It's a tough place to fish. I mean, you can go catch a bunch of fish, but it can definitely be tough. Coleman Jones. Oh, what's up? What's up, Josh? How's it going? Thanks for tuning in, man. I just spent the weekend with Josh actually, and we caught some fish, some herring fish, and it was a really good time. Filming some content with those guys. Josh was awesome. Kimmel, with Justin Kimmel, those boys. It was a really good time of just like there's not often you go out on the boat and there's only glides tied on.
Yeah.
This was one of those weekends, and it was pretty badass. So we got some awesome footage coming y'all's way too. So definitely check out Clutch Swimbait Co. Go check out what they've got, because they've got some awesome products and some cool new prototypes in the works too.
I snuck one from Kimmel the other day.
Oh yeah,
and that'll be when we start talking about baits on the other side of offshore fishing, more like Tennessee River Eufaula stuff. That's one that always stays on the deck is the Baby Boss.
Oh, for sure. The Baby Boss is, I got to see the power of that. I got to see a couple 5-pounders come in the boat off that thing. And I was like, word.
Badass.
And then there's like there's a bunch of sneaky nuance. We'll have to get Josh on the show. So hopefully he comes on the show sometime and we'll really get deep into the history of Clutch and then kind of like where it's going, because he's got an awesome trajectory plan for it. So I'm excited to see that grow. Coleman Jones, check him out. Did Jake ever get to fish West Point much?
Yeah. I used to fish out in there a good bit.
What's that place like?
It's kind of a cool, unique lake. It's definitely like largemouth set up on brush, almost like Eufaula. but there's starting to be some herring in there now. I haven't fished it in, probably 2 years, but my brother works at State Line, so he fishes it a bunch, so he kind of fills me in.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what's going on in that lake and all the changes and everything. But when I fished it, I basically went to Auburn and would fish it all the time because it was 35 minutes away. And I primarily fished shallow when I was there, and shallow brush. And kind of once I figured out I spent most of my time in college on Eufaula. So that's I would say my second home lake is Eufaula.
And that's a good tournament lake to start to learn.
Sure. That's a real good tournament lake. But West Point's starting to kind of fish that way. It's starting to get better. There's just a lack of, I would say, good tournament size fish. They're either 6-pounders or they're dinks, So it's hard to get a 15, 16-pound bag without having a big kicker fish. So
exactly.
But the weights have definitely started to get better out there, and I want to go back soon. So.
What's the fishing like? What are right now?
It looks like a herring lake. It's, red clay points, long tapering points, a lot of brush, a lot of spotted bass. There's some timber out there. There's actually standing timber that's exposed. So
yeah, that's
and there's also timber that's out there in 60, 70 foot. So
some good.
It's kind of a mix between a Lanier and a Eufaula, which is a super weird combo. But yeah.
I can see that. It is funny when you think about these lakes in these regions and you start to be it's if this lake and this lake had a baby, but it's crazy how different and diverse a lot of these fisheries are, even if they're within a couple miles of each other.
Literally, we're talking about some other lakes like Toledo Bend and Rayburn are completely different,
completely.
Lakes or whatever. But Chattahoochee River, there's so many different lakes. And one of the things just fishing tournaments all over is we were talking about biodiversity earlier. You can always take a lake and part of that lake will fit a certain style, almost like your home lake does. So think of a new body of water as an extension of your home lake. So this this kind of looks familiar. This kind of does whatever. And it might not be the main deal to go win tournaments off of, but you can get comfortable, especially when you kind of first get to a fishery and, just want to generate bites. It's something I do a lot. It's just, that looks just like Lake Martin, or that looks just like Guntersville. So
exactly.
Yeah. And then Lanier, that looks just like Lanier and Hartwell.
Yep.
Just whatever.
And I could find myself in I was in a lake in Idaho and I was God, this sets up similar to Lanier, but it's they can, they can have those similar features. And it's funny because once you have a certain list of features, the fish do start to act similar.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been to clear water places in Texas where I'm oh, this is set.
Yeah, this is
it's
different.
It's
weird. Not expected. Yeah.
And then you'll fish a fork, and it's okay, fork is fork.
Yeah.
All right, let's check out the comments some more. James Archer, we got, what depth of structure are you guys seeing on Lanier this time of year? I've struggled the last few times I went out. Been fishing at a Bayless.
Yeah, so it could be a totally wide depth range, but I'm primarily looking at 25 to 35 is what I'm looking at right now. Yeah. There is some shallower places that are playing now that normally wouldn't have played a year ago, just because I don't know if people have noticed it, but there's a lot more grass in Lake Lanier now.
Yeah.
A lot of grass.
It's weird.
It's hard. It actually grows pretty tall, 4 or 5 foot off the bottom, and it grows out to 15, 16 foot deep.
Yeah.
And the fish are using it like I never really thought they'd spotted bass be using the grass like they do, but I was catching a lot of fry garters this year out of it. And I haven't caught any huge ones out of the grass, but they've never caught one over 4 1/4. But I've caught a bunch of big 3s and some 4s out of it.
It's interesting how they're using it, because it's like they don't really know how to use it yet.
Yeah.
But they're willing to try. But the thing is if these 3 and 4 pounders start to use it and they like it, and 2 years from now, 2-3 years from now, they're gonna be
for sure,
big ones.
Sure. Yeah. Lanier's got a ton of different types of forage too. It's got yellow perch, and I think that's what they're eating when they're in that grass, is more the perch than anything.
Yeah, and then so you got brush piles, obviously, is a big thing playing right now. We did a show on that last week, but just kind of targeting those brush piles, going, running and gunning. Don't spend too much time in an area when you're trying to break it down and find fish. You don't have to have forward facing sonar. Go out there, throw a top water, throw a fluke, throw a glide bait. And then if that kind of stuff's not working, if speed is not working, then that's when you swap over to your shaky head, your Nico rig, your drop shot, that kind of stuff, just to kind of try to figure out where these fish are setting up. So I mean, you're targeting that a little bit deeper, 25, 35. So like get out there and just kind of try it. And then if something's not working, it's not working, move on and keep on going. I know we talked about just like pull that trolling motor more than you think you need to, because you can get stuck in an area with no fish.
Yeah,
real quick.
for sure. And there's like different areas of the lake that pop off at certain times of the day. So like you can make 50 wrong decisions, but if you make 5 right ones, you know, you're gonna be good on paper. So
and the faster you make those decisions and faster you move, like it's definitely, it gives you the odds, right, to land in that bite window at the right time. Because like this past weekend we were out on some herring lakes, and it was very bite windowy, to where it was like we'd pull up, not get bit, and then it's all of a sudden it's like 4-pounder, 5-pounder, and then it's like lights are off again, and it was only 10 minutes went by. So it's like it very well can shut on and shut off. So like the more water you're covering, the more you're checking around, definitely helps when you're trying to break down a body of water when things aren't going right. Pull up clutch real quick. Let's get, we'll definitely get you online. We're not going to make you fly out here just for a pod night, but we'll get you, we'll viral you in on the old, on the interwebs for
Skype
sure.
Action.
Yeah. A little Skype. Yeah. We'll throw them up on the Skype. Yard. Glad you're here. Going to Chickamauga on Thursday. Are the ledges the place to be?
Yes, for sure. Like that's what we're going to talk about tonight, is primarily more like Tennessee River, lower Chattahoochee River, let's call it. You know, let's call it like West Point down, Coosa River, anywhere. We're going to kind of talk about, you know, stuff that's close by, maybe not a herring lake per se, but some of the places around here is kind of what we'll talk about tonight, like true ledge fishing.
Well, let's get into it. Let's talk some ledge. So ledge fishing on Chickamauga. I'm getting the old skeeter. I'm hooking up and I'm ready to rock and roll and go to Chick. What are we throwing? Where are we going?
First thing I'm looking at is current. Is what are they pulling current? There is such thing as too little current, and there's also such thing as too much current. So
how are you checking for the current? Do you call them?
TVA app.
TVA app?
They're pretty accurate. Coosa River ones, not so much, but the TVA usually is pretty accurate. They do it by like thousands of, you know.
So it's the CFS, right?
CFS, yeah. Okay. So like I kind of like just look at it now, and each lake has a little bit different number, and it's just trial and error, you know. Yeah. But if they're pulling some current, if you can see it on the buoys, you're usually like, even if it's just a little bit, you're in good shape. So basically, typically on the Tennessee River and Eufaula and pretty much any river place that they get offshore on river ledges, up the lake, they're still going to get off on schools, but they're going to be shallower schools most of the time. So I'm going to be looking anywhere from 12 to 6 foot for schools. Down the lake, bound to the dam, I might be looking as deep as like 30.
Okay.
So, maybe even deeper than that sometimes. I know at Toledo Bend a couple of years ago, I caught them real deep, like 35 in schools. Wow. And I've only found a handful of places where they were really stacked up in 35, but most, I would say, bread and butter is like that 20-foot range, you know. Okay. So that 15 to 25 is like the majority of what we're doing ledge fishing wise.
So talk about what a ledge is. Like when you're trying to explain to somebody that's never ledge fished, or they're a herring guy and they've never ledge fished, or whatever, like what is a ledge? Like how do I target that? Like if I'm going to Chickamauga, like what am I looking for?
Yeah. So basically you're looking for anywhere that creek channels intersect or meet the main river channel, or bars, any sort of hard structure. So Tennessee River, there's a lot of current, there's a lot of shell beds. And so like live bottom areas. So I'm looking like for underwater islands that kind of make like a point, you know. Mm-hmm. That's just going to be a place that current breaks up on. Where a big giant creek or bay meets the main river channel. That's like every single spot that does that on the Tennessee River is a community hole. Like they get there. Those are places that you can look on the map and say, yep, there's going to be schools of fish right here. They get on humps. They get on any sort of like drop basically. So when there's a lot of current and early on in the year, like we're at right now, we've had a ton of rain. Sometimes those fish will be grouped up more inside the creeks, but just outside the main river. But now these fish are starting to trickle out to the actual main river bars and, set up on some of the deeper stuff. And for me, I always look deeper first in the year because I think they can live deeper early on. Yeah. And then once the thermocline, comes around, they'll get a little bit shallower. And some of those upriver schools will play a little bit more. some of those upriver schools too are a little bit sneakier and they're harder to find.
Mm-hmm.
And because there's so many flats, so many bars and
there's
stuff. So there's not always on every single one, but like if you pull up a map of any TVA lake, you can almost guarantee you pick out the biggest communities, never been there before, and pick out 5 or 6 community holes. Like you just know on the paper that they're going to set up on those type of places. So
gotcha.
Yep. So once you find them a couple times, you'll kind of get the hang of it, and it's just like fishing linear. Like once you get the hang, like, oh, everybody's dropping brush on like the flat banks. Like you can look for more flat banks and find brush like that. So it's just like that, but you're doing it for schools of bass instead of brush. So
gotcha. So like, what's the speed like? So like on linear, you're offshore. You're trying to spend 5, 15, max 30 minutes on a hole. Like when you're ledge fishing, are you spending a lot more time on those fish? Let's say you side scan up a school on a ledge. Like how much time are you spending on those fish?
So it depends, like if it's tournament or not tournament. Usually a lot of times there's kind of like two mentalities. Like Guntersville, there's not a whole bunch of places that there's a lot of places they get, but there's not a whole lot of like sneaky places. So when you're fishing a big giant tournament, you may only get to be able to fish 5 or 6 holes in a day because there's going to be a lot of boats on stuff. You're going to be rubbing rub reel to rub reel at times, especially on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So I might camp out a lot more like on an actual tournament day and go to my best stuff first. But if I'm fun fishing, like I'm going to stay 45 minutes on a hole, maybe max.
Okay.
Get those, and I'll check them throughout the day though. That's a big thing. Is like, I like to fish them, come back if they're not biting, or even if I catch a bunch of them and they kind of quit biting, I'll just leave them be,
let them rest,
let it rest a little bit, come back at a different angle or switch angles.
So with ledge fishing, I haven't done a lot of it. So I'm genuinely curious. Like, so you catch a 4-pounder out of a school, you roll up on it, you make a couple of casts, and then all of a sudden you catch a 4-pounder out of the school. Like, are you trying to like get back in there as fast as possible? Is it something that like you're trying to get that school fired up, or like how does that work?
Definitely want to get the school fired up. And like nowadays there's so much pressure. Like my favorite month of the year is June for just bass fishing in general. Like I just love post spawn bass just because they're really predictable and they group up a lot, no matter if it's a herring lake or a ledge lake. But for sure want to get back in there because you're trying to get those schools fired up for sure. And that helps when you're fishing a team tournament because you can have a guy coaling and you can throw back in there. It's like really boring when you're just side scanning all day trying to find these places, but it can be some of the most insane fishing for like 20 minutes you've ever had. So straight insanity.
You're looking on the map to find these places. You start to find some bars, you start to find some contours. How are you just like running, side scanning a place and fishing it, or are you side scanning it, marketing the fish, and then going to the next spot, or like how does?
Yeah, it just depends on like I'm fishing a tournament. If I'm fishing a tournament, I'm just gonna market as many places as possible. I'm not worried about actually fishing for them. Early on, when I was like learning how to ledge fish, I would fish everything because there's a lot of times like I was looking at my Snapchat memories and I'd be like, oh, dude, they're loaded right here, but they're all catfish. And I can tell they're catfish now, but when I was in high school, I was like, oh, these are giant 10-pound bass on the ledge. But not the case. And I've never found a school of just straight 10-pounders in my life. But
I'm still looking for them too, but I'm still looking for them too.
But so side scans, like side scan and map are going to be my number one and two tools I use to find these places. And side scan is something I've always been a huge fan of.
What kind of side scan do you use?
I just switched to Lowrance. So I was running Garmin. I've run Humminbird in the past, so now I decided to run Lowrance this year. I'm actually running Lowrance and Garmin side scan. But there's no such thing as like bad side image.
No, like at this point they're all good.
Stuff is really good. Just depends on your eyes and like functionality of the unit and like what you're doing. There's a reason that guys are running multiple brands and everything. And that's another thing I'm doing is doing electronics training too. So can do that.
So talk about a little bit about like what you're doing right now, like as far as guiding a little bit, catching some bass, being a badass. Like what are you up to right now?
Yeah, just I'm working at Tackle Warehouse, guiding on linear, and then I've got something cool in the works. I'm fishing the Bassmaster Opens. We got a couple more tournaments. Hopefully I can sneak in that EQ and fish the one in the fall.
When's your next one?
Chesapeake Bay and St. Lawrence. So
gotcha. Those are later in the year, right?
Yeah, they're next month. So cool thing is I'm going up north. And so I'm actually going to be offering some trips in New York this year. So
that's awesome.
For any guys that have never caught a smallmouth before or want to go to New York but don't want to lug your boat up there, I'm going to actually be doing some trips on St. Lawrence River, on Lake Ontario,
nice.
Lake Oneida, Champlain. I don't know about Champlain because that's an EQ lake. I might not be able to do that over there, but there's a ton of great fishing in New York. So anyone that's ever, never caught a smallmouth before but wants to go and.
So how can people get a hold of you? We'll go ahead and knock this out early.
Yeah, Bass and Bros Guide Service is my Instagram, or JMad_fishing is my Instagram. You can just hit me up there, or just on Facebook. Same thing. They're all platforms: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Just get a hold of me, and I'll put my number at the end of the show too.
Yeah, for sure. And we can put it in the comments or the description.
For sure.
Try to rock and roll. But like it's good to know. Like we were just talking about with the sponsor plugs, is like we've got a lot of good guides around here that are doing this stuff around here. But go to New York, man. Like it's the best fishing I've ever experienced was on the St. Lawrence River. Like it is so ridiculously fun. And those fish are so aggressive. They're butterballs. They're so much fun to catch. You can catch them a lot of different ways. Like I was catching 5-pound smallmouth on the OG. Like it was so much fun. Like there's so much fun fishing up there. You can go shallow with a chatterbait and go fish some fun stuff. There's just so much. It's a blast. So hit Jake up, go fishing. You don't have to you can just fly up there. You get first class it if you want, since you're saving all that money in boat gas and just ride up there, have them grab you at the airport and go catch some bass.
Is very nice.
Syracuse is one of my favorite airports, honestly, because it's small and simple.
Yeah, I proposed on Lake Oneida, special place.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Love New York. So
yeah, New York's awesome. And isn't your wife's from there, right?
Yeah, she's New Jersey. I call it all New York, past Tennessee. So
yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, what else we got in the chat out there? Jake, I'm going to West Point the rest of the week. I'm staying close to Yeller Jacket Creek. What's a couple baits you keep on the deck?
Big worm, crankbait, 15, I'd have 2 of them tied on. I'd have one for 10 foot and less and then one for 15 plus.
Okay.
I like the Ima. The Ima Pin Jack's a real good one. And then the Beast Hunter. It's hard to get those baits right now, but I will say.
So so Jake loves these baits that nobody else can get.
But I will say, Ima's coming next week. Of every single bait that has been hard to get, discontinued for a bit, is coming next week. And I'll allude to this later on. We'll talk about it later. But I've got a new signature color coming out with Ima. So,
no way.
Yeah.
That's bad to the bone. We'll have to get into that.
Yeah.
So you're cranking. So you want a medium depth, a little deeper. You want a big worm. What kind of big worm you like?
The big bite one. The B2 worm, plum apple. For whatever reason, they just bite plum and black.
Yeah.
And I literally just throw those 2 colors. I'd keep it real, real simple. Black is a very big sleeper, especially fishing in schools and brush piles. So
you're locating these schools. You're trying to stay off of them. You're bombing it out there. You're letting it hit the bottom. And then what?
I'll crawl it around. A lot of times this is some juice. I've been throwing the free rig recently.
Yeah.
Like pretty much any time that I don't peg, I just throw a free rig because it gets so much more bites than a Texas rig does. I mean, same thing, but just a little bit different presentation, and it comes through cover just as good.
Yeah.
And that's like a huge,
but you're just dragging it, or are you hopping it?
Kind of pull it, hop it. I get it kind of close to something that get it almost stuck, shake it a second, and then pop it off. So like a place like West Point when there's brush and there's stumps and stuff, that's a huge deal, is like getting it kind of like hung up almost and then popping it free. And that big worm is just, something they just bite in the summertime, because there's a ton of spotted bass out there. Not every brush pile has largemouth on it. So, but I want to catch, bigger than average have the best chance. Spots. And spots are pretty aggressive. It's not like you're not going to catch, little ones on it. But I want to up my odds that the biggest fish in that pile bites first. So I'm going to throw something usually big and, something big appetized meal. So
it gives them that big presentation, get some biting. Thad was making some cookies. I hope you're bringing us some, old son. Let's see what else we got. Do you fish tuna?
I don't, but I'm gonna start fishing it out there.
There's all kinds of night derbies and stuff.
I went there one time at night, like in college. I don't know why, but I'm gonna start going back out there. It's just so hard to leave Lanier. I live like 25 minutes from Lanier, and I keep my boat at Lanier, so I gotta go to Lanier to go get my boat and drive out there. So it makes it tough.
I would never drive to Allatoona if I still lived.
I've heard that place is pretty legit, but
it can be cool. It can be a fun place to fish. It can be fun, but I'm sorry, but like there's just no other spotted bass fishery like Lanier. Like,
there's not. I mean, I grew up like thinking the Alabama spot. I mean, the Lanier spots are Alabama
now. There's
spots,
some places in Alabama you can go catch a bag,
but it's completely different. It's not herring. It's all current related spotted bass. Yeah. Like Alabama River is so sick. Coosa River is so sick. So I'm no stranger to spotted bass, but they were living and you're basically fishing for largemouth when you're fishing for them. Yeah. Basically in the dirt. So
it's different. It's different. But like all these spotted bass lakes are different. And so like Allatoona's it's a cool place. It sets up a little bit different, a little bit less pressured than Lanier, obviously, but I mean it still gets plenty of tournament pressure. But like the fish are just different between the two. I mean, Allatoona has some big spots in it, but like the consistency and the average size of bass in Lanier is just it's such a healthy. It's
the average size bass out there's like almost 3-pounder. Probably is 3-pounder.
It probably is 3 pounds. Yeah, like honestly.
Yeah.
Let's see who else we got. We got all Hanks in the chat. St. Lawrence is an amazing place. Yeah. So me and Hanks went up with old Joey, and we smashed the booty on a 3-inch Prodigy. It was so much fun. We were just catch them on that little thing, just like you'd cast it out, you let it sink, and then you just slow roll it, and then all of a sudden your rod's going like it's so much fun. So much fun. What is a free rig? So explain
basically
that. Break it down.
Drop shot weight, but not the one that you like clip on. It's like the one that's like you actually
just it's like an open.
Yeah, open eye. Yeah. Just slide that on and then tie your worm hook on, and that's it. Nothing crazy.
What kind of worm hook you like?
I throw a Ryugi Infinity is the main one I throw. Infinity is just a big stout, hook.
What 4-aught, 5-aught?
I usually throw 4 or 5-aught, and then if I'm throwing like a true worm, if I'm throwing a worm, I'm throwing the I don't know why I blanked on the name of it, but if I'm throwing like more of a creature rate, it's going to be the Infinity, and then if I'm throwing a worm, it's going to be the Limit, which is just a real stout, standard worm hook.
Gotcha.
By Ryugi, so.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. But yeah, so you're throwing that on what, 15, 12, 10?
So like you follow anywhere that's like, if I'm fishing like brush offshore, it's going to be pretty big line, like probably 17.
Okay.
Yeah, 17 usually. If I'm out, you follow 20. But, you can definitely go down for sure. I've gone to places where, it gets a little tougher. You go 15, 14.
Gotcha.
You got thrown on a spinning rod too, where you can throw it on 10. So it's a really unique bait. Just anytime, it's a real finessey kind of different presentation. So
for sure. I like an old free rig. I'm still trying to catch them on it. It's been one of those things where I like have it tied on. I've been throwing it a bunch and just like, for some reason, I keep going back to that shaky head.
Yeah,
it's like I can't.
It's hard to be the shaky head, especially this region where we're at. Like the shaky head's just like king. Like it always is, but
it is. But they both catch, and sometimes it's like everybody's throwing a shaky head. Let me throw a free rig and something a little bit different that gives you that.
Yeah,
edge.
For sure.
So like it's definitely.
You can throw the same baits you throw on a shaky head, like that are just tried and true. It's not like you're reinventing a technique. It's just you're
not trying to reinvent the wheel. It's just
it's like putting a shaky headed, whatever stick bait versus put it on a Carolina rig. It's just something different. So
exactly
same bait.
Exactly. All right. Pretty much using a casting sinker instead of a worm weight. Yeah, pretty much. We'll trade made from scratch cookies and cold beer for some good braid and VMC 6mm rings. Who's that for?
Hard to get, I guess.
I reckon. Tuna can humble you. Also, do you fish a Carolina rig?
Carolina rig is making a comeback. I will say that. Like, that is a bait that's won a lot of money in the past, like probably 2 years.
Oh yeah,
maybe a little longer, but I mean, obviously longer. But like, actually, like where the guys in the top 10 are like,
it's like guys were like, oh, it's in the bottom of the box. I'm not throwing it, but like, they're throwing it.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
What do you like? What do you like on a Carolina rig? Are you throwing?
I like that fighting frog. Like just like 3-inch fighting frog, 4-inch fighting frog. Some places I throw the 5-inch fighting frog. I keep my like colors pretty simple, but there's like a couple baits, like key core baits, especially from Big Bite, that just like I keep in the boat and keep just like the bulk packs or put them all in Ziplocs.
I love how they do the bulk packs.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool.
I mean, it's the ultimate flex when you just go to a flipping tournament and you just have like 100 just black and blue.
Just lay it out. Yeah.
It's super sick.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And are you throwing a pretty heavy Carolina rig, like 3/4, 1 ounce, ounce and a half? Like how heavy?
It just depends on where I'm at. I would say my number one size is 5/8. Sinker.
Okay.
Yeah. 5/8 or 3/4. I keep it pretty simple. Sometimes I throw half, but especially like right now where there's a lot of bluegill beds is something that we don't really talk about a whole bunch. Fishing offshore, it's more like you talk about bluegill beds, like the ones you can visually see. But there's a ton of bluegill that spawn offshore, and they
get out pretty deep too.
Yeah, especially like you follow like I've got screenshots on side scan with like some of the most ungodly bluegill beds you've ever seen with giant ones on it, and that bait is very key to throw.
Yeah.
Like Carolina rig around that kind of stuff. It's just a good way to catch just like one single giant one. So
yeah. So if you're marking some bluegill beds, let's say you're marking some in like 10 foot and you're side scanning them, like, are you setting up way up off of them and bombing that Carolina rig, or like how are you approaching bluegill beds?
Usually I try to stay, at least, the closest I'll ever get to any target offshore anytime is 50 foot. Like we'll not get any closer. I try to keep them between like 75 to 100 seems like the perfect distance because that's like not that far of a cast, but it's still,
you can see your bait, you can see it working.
Like that's another thing. Like pre-live scope, I thought 80 foot was a far cast.
Yeah,
I didn't realize like how close 80 foot was. Like you can like kind of flip out there and hit 80, like no problem. So
yeah, that's awesome. Let's see. Heard the 3 inches discontinued. Is the 3 inch still around?
3 inch and fighting frog?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that is fake news, Anthony Hampton. Y'all think it's a good time to break out the Flutter spoon? Yes.
It's time. Yes. That's another ledge bait too that just like hand in hand with linear and actual ledge fishing.
Do you still throw that counterback?
Yeah, throw the counterback a bit.
You put me onto that last summer.
Yeah, that's a little
bait. Dude, I caught him on it. It was so much
It's
fun.
the best scoping spoon there is.
Oh, for sure.
For like as far as like being accurate, like there's no better. It may not flutter the best, but it is the most accurate for sure. Yeah,
like as far as like you want to put it in front of their face, you want it to get down there quick. Like I was catching them on a Kiwi a couple weeks ago, and then but like last year on Allatoona, I was fishing some tournaments and like sending it back behind the marina walls. The fish were set up like under the marina wall on the other side.
You'd never be able to get any other bait there.
You can't.
Yeah.
Like you'd have to go on the other side of the marina wall, and then when you do that, they're gonna scoot on the other side.
You need to get on the dock and drop it.
Yeah.
Anything else. So.
Yeah, and like, but that counterback is a legit spoon.
Yeah, there's a couple brands I throw, but as far as like scoping,
so like what else you like Flutter spoon wise?
Nichols is that's the OG.
That's the OG.
And then the Dixie Jet is pretty sweet. Dixie Jet is just a lot slower fall. So when I'm fishing a little bit shallower, or they've seen that Nichols and counterback, they don't really see the counterback, but they don't. There's a lot of flutter spoons that just kind of do the same thing. And
I feel like
Dixie's pretty sick
with the Flutter spoon. A lot of fish, when they get conditioned to a Flutter spoon, it's because of the area where they're set up. But like I feel like I've gotten on bites to where I'm finding these fish that are not seeing a Flutter spoon.
Yeah, for sure. And that's like such a like unique bait that you can like put other places than just like a brush pile or a school of bass. You can actually fish like you're saying around those marina walls and like there may be like a single giant whatever structure in the middle of the lake that's providing shade, vertical structure, and like throw a spoon on it. Like that's one of the best baits you can throw for catching big ones. And
sometimes that structure is your boat, and you just pulled the whole school to your boat, and you drop a Flutter spoon down there, and sometimes you can get them fired up.
No doubt.
Pers, you've been quiet.
I like a.
How are you doing tonight? How are you feeling? Put it on you. Let's see your shining face.
I'm doing good.
Are you feeling young?
I am feeling young. I'm
good.
Always feeling young.
Good.
Got some birds in my attic, so I'm trying to figure out how to deal with that.
Birds in your attic?
In the attic,
What flavor kind of birds we got?
I have no idea. The chirping kind.
The chirping kind.
Yeah,
so are you going to be able to sleep tonight?
Yeah, I'll be able to sleep tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
What do? Do you just go up there and are you going to crawl around, or are you just
going
to
call somebody and tell them to come get her?
Okay. Somebody come get her. They're chirping in my attic.
I'm not a pest control guy.
Bird patrol. You been fishing?
So a little bit, fishing the shaky head a lot. jerk baits, shaking a minnow. Mainly shaking a minnow because I've been trying to learn the forward-facing sonar stuff.
What kind of minnow
better.
you been playing around with?
So I use the tactical fishing missile minnow or missile minnow, and he's got a paddle tail called the Pogue out now too. But
Nice.
I also will throw Angler's Choice. You ever heard of Angler's Choice?
Yeah.
He's got one that I throw as well.
Nice.
The minnow, his little 4-inch minnow.
Have they been real fast to it lately? Are you trying to burn it away from them?
No, I just, like you were talking about earlier with Ryan, I just cast it way out, wait a little bit, and just kind of slow reel and shake it every once in a while, and then all of a sudden the rod tip loads up. But when they hit it, they annihilate it.
Oh yeah, they are
so much
like
fun.
when they eat a minnow right now, they are like glucking it in.
What's your minnow of choice?
I have a couple different ones. So I was able to help design the Cast Echo and work with the Cast Echo, and I love the 7.2 and the 275. Like those are my for some reason the tiniest one and the largest one are the ones that I've thrown the most and caught the most fish on. Another one that has been a sleeper for me was the 6-inch Aussie. I've caught a lot of fish on that one because it's very simple. It rolls and I can get away with a lot lighter of a jig head with that than I can on that 7.2 to get it to roll. I'm wanting to go a 3/16 or a quarter at least, and a 5/0 hook, something like that. But that 6-inch Aussie has been a player too, and it's I kind of back and forth because a minnow is a minnow is not true. I feel they're all so different.
Yeah,
and they can be on one and want one action. Everybody got caught in this shaking craze where you all have to shake a minnow. That 7.2, a lot of times I'm just straight up reeling it. And some people just think that you have to be shaking it a certain way, but then there is so many different things to the presentation, loop knot, no loop knot, all kinds of different minnow shaking. So I know, or Coleman was asking about some minnow shaking. So we can dive on into some minnow shaking. What rod do you throw a minnow on?
I've got two. I got three minnow rods. I've got the 610 medium heavy solid tip Shimano X rod. So it's got a solid tip. Basically, to achieve the action that rod has, there would be no way that rod would not snap on every fish catch if it was a traditional hollow rod. So what they did was they welded a solid tip. It's a different material that's not on any other rod. So solid tip rods are huge in Japan. So they brought kind of that solid tip technology, but put it more in Americanized actions. So there's a couple different rods that have that. Poison Adrena and X Pride are the only two right now. There's gonna be some more in the future, the Shimano lineup. But I throw the 610 medium and the medium heavy solid tip rods, and then I throw a 822 NRX G Loomis. So
nice.
Very fortunate to be able to fish with Shimano and G Loomis this year. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, because Shimano and Loomis are owned by the same company. Shimano owns G Loomis, so typically I was all X Pride, and I love my X Prides, but there's time and place for the NRX too. So
for sure. So when are you picking up which one? Is it does it depend on the bait, the weight, the action, everything?
A little bit of both. And we're prototyping on some rods too right now to get. I mean, it's hard. My favorite size, and just in general, if I can catch them on one size, it would be the 7-inch, just because it's really fun catching big ones on big minnow. But that medium it's almost like a medium light. It's super whippy. It's you can't do anything else except shake a minnow on that rod. I'm throwing heavy minnow or light minnow, basically anything that's under 4 inches, real small stuff. Some the 2 inch, or not 2 inch, but the 3-inch jerk minnows and stuff like that on that rod. Some of the smaller Sakamadas, stuff like that on that rod. And then the medium heavy, that's what I do my bread and butter with. And I've been playing with that 822 Loomis just to kind of see. But my favorite, if I had to pick one, is the 610 medium heavy, because I can do everything with it. So
I like it. Alex, what have you been shaking your minnow on?
Been shaking my minnow on a Douglas X Matrix. It's a 7.6 medium light fast action.
Long minnow shaking rod.
Yeah, in the kayak.
That's nice. That is true.
In the kayak, all my rods are 7 foot or longer.
Yeah,
I mean that makes sense. Because you can't. With these shorter minnow rods, I feel you're either minnowing down or
Yeah,
you can minnow up, but like that minnow down, I feel like that's the deal. So that's got to be tough in a kayak to minnow down.
Yeah.
But you can still get the job done. I mean, I minnow up too. Like, I mean, it kind of depends.
It seems like at Lanier, they like minnow up.
Yeah, they definitely like
because you're trying to keep away from them.
Yeah.
But like in Tennessee River, like largemouth fishing, you're like trying to like extend your cast a lot longer.
Yeah.
And you like keep the bait in one place a lot longer. Like Lanier, you want to keep it away from them.
And like, I feel like you can see that you can start like once you start really getting into the deep, dark depths of the scope and learning, like somebody just honked at us. Hell yeah, brother. But when you start getting deep into that stuff, and you're just reading the behavior, like spotted bass, you want to put that thing above them and you want to get it away from them. But those largemouth, I feel like you can kind of hover it in their face more, almost like enticing them to bite. And like, it doesn't, like a spotted bass, if you put it on their nose, they're really not going to want to bite as much, especially this time of year. Like they're wanting to go up and chase it. Like it kind of is something like it. Play with your water clarity. Like let's say like Lanier, let's give it a 10-foot water clarity right now. Let's just say for sport, I don't know, after these storms we've had, it's probably a lot less. So let's call it 5, right? So I'm going to want to keep that minnow at least 5 foot above their head and trying to like, they're going to see it. You'll know they'll act like they'll show interest as soon as that bait starts to come down. And I'm trying to keep that minnow, like I'm trying to match the water clarity, and that's how far above that fish I keep it. And I'm trying to pull it away from them. You're playing cat and mouse, like that minnow game. You're playing with your speed, you're shaking. There's a lot of different factors, and ain't nothing to it but to do it. You got to go out there, see what the fish are acting like. Like I can be freaking like beaming it on their noggin and they're eating it, or it's one of those where you have to, like, if it gets too close to them, they're not going to bite. So play around with it. I mean, they're going to be on a different bite today than they are tomorrow. Like it's going to change. Change your weights. Weights on a minnow are huge. Like what are some, like you have to go out with 2 jig heads tomorrow. What are the weights of the jig heads for fishing Lanier?
3/8 is the most all around perfect herring size, but I would say my favorite size of all time is 16th and 8th.
Yeah.
Like I like a real light minnow, but
I do too.
3/8, you can reel it real fast. You can also get it to them quick. 3/8 is probably the most. This time of year, probably quarter, just because they're a little bit, up, looking up.
Yeah.
But like if I had to pick one for year round, it'd be 3/8 and a quarter. But I don't know. That's tough. I like to have.
Yeah, I like to have a lot of options. Yeah.
If I'm on that bite, but
whose jig head are you throwing?
I'm making mine.
You're making yours.
Yeah, making them. Right
He's
now.
in the Mad Lab, just making them.
Yeah, queen tackle head, burn the head out, take it out, throw that trash hook away, put a Ryugi in there, and call it good.
I mean, that's a lot of people are doing that. Like I've done it and put a different hook in it as well, because I mean, there's enough people doing it that there's obviously.
We'll see some cool stuff at ICAST.
Yeah.
We need to tell KJ to make some like the pro version.
Yeah.
Like, because there's enough people like I buy a ton of those and fish them all the time. If I'm fishing for fun, I don't ever do it. But like I've got some like derby hooks that are like the deal. But that queen tackle, I like tungsten head. But
yeah,
I know Rob's working on one with Ryugi right now. Rob
That's
G,
awesome.
So I trust him that he's going to be a good one. So
I don't think he'll mess that up.
No, I don't think so either.
And Easton's with it.
With us too, yeah.
So I mean, them boys ain't gonna let nothing get slipped through the cracks.
Yeah, I think we might have a flipping hook coming too. So it's kind of cool, like Japanese company, but they're
innovating with Americans.
It's really cool. So we get to talk to them.
So how did I feel when I think about you and your fishing style? I think about Japanese baits, and I just think about like the finesse style of J-Mad that I know. Like, how did that start to come about? Like, when did that start fascinating you and like you getting involved more with the Japanese anglers?
Yeah, so like I was always just a big time like tackle guy. Just love tackle. Always wanted to find like the newest and greatest stuff. I'd always like there's a point when you kind of realize, it was probably college, that I was really realizing that, hey, maybe all the articles I'm reading about the pros are maybe not all the truth. And so that was a time when YouTube was coming out heavy too. and you could kind of watch a little bit of everything. So I was watching a lot of the JDM stuff, like seeing like how good a drop shot was and how that came from Japan. So I started like watching some of their stuff, and then I just was fascinated with that stuff. Love like all the, you know, depths. I'm with Depths now, and IMA, and it's pretty cool, that relationship right there. Optimum Baits, which is an American company, distributes Depths and IMA and Zapu for the U.S. So they are my hard bait sponsor for this year, and Big Bite's my soft bait sponsor. So that's cool. I get to, you know, use both on some of the American stuff, some of the Japanese stuff. It's cool to talk to them. But the first year I fished the Bassmaster Opens, Kenta actually took kind of me and Logan Parks under his wing and kind of like would show us kind of some cool stuff. I would kind of, you know, check some stuff from Japan, ask him about it. And he was like real open, saw that, you know, early on that like we really were fascinated about like his kind of stuff. But it was cool. Like he would tell us about something and then he'd be like, all right, how do you throw a hair jig? You know, like kind of like cool, like to learn from each other. I definitely learned a lot more than what he learned from me, but you know, it's really cool to play with them. And then some of my friends I've met through Kenta, I've just met a ton of the Japanese anglers and got to fish with a ton of them. And then being with Shimano for, you know, I've been with them for 4 years, I think. This might be my 4th year with Shimano, I believe. I worked for the rep group that rep Shimano for 3 years, going to all these tackle stores, doing product training, taking guys behind the counter fishing with the Shimano products. And then that kind of led to, you know, a sponsorship with actual Shimano North America.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
So I've got to fish with a bunch of guys that, you know, design some of the reels, and then talk to guys. Some of my best friends work for Shimano and design some of the stuff. So it's cool getting like firsthand, you know, talking with them, you know, especially with such a big company. I mean, that company is bigger than Nike. It's the biggest outdoor company in the world. With the biking and everything, you know, that rowing, biking, fishing is a small little percentage of it, but it's still a
so
huge
crazy
part of what they do. So, yeah,
that's awesome. Like it's fun. Like, so what do you think about this whole dice craze? Because the thing is the real dice craze happened like 2 years ago, I feel like, but now everybody's finally catching on to like the koiki and all these different dice baits and things like that. Like, have you played with these dice baits? Are you working on some? You got some sneaky ones? Like, what's the latest on the old fuzzy dice?
Scam.
It's a scam.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you got for me.
No comment.
No comment. All right. Word.
It's really good. They're all really good. But
yeah.
It's too early to talk about.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. We'll keep it on. Let's see what we got in the comments. Thad, how often do either y'all ledge fish Pickwick? Can be great for spots, smallies, and some largemouth. Well, I will start real quick with, I've done it once, and it was in June, and I was in an 88 Ranger with no graphs on it because I broke off my transducer in practice, and I caught a 562 spot and had no idea it was that big. I put it in a live well. Is in a college tournament. It was my last college tournament. Put it in a live well, and I was like, oh, yeah, it's a 3-4 pounder. Didn't think about anything of it. Caught it on a dumb-looking hair jig, and that was the only fish we caught all day. And we weighed it in, and it was 562. And I was like, sweet. And it's still my biggest spot to this day, and I still have not caught one over 5 since.
That's insane. That's a giant one for Pickwick, like true mag.
It was dumb. But say all that to say I have zero experience doing it, so I'm going to let the master talk about it.
Yeah. It was a little bit further from where I grew up. I was like hour and 45 from Guntersville. So that's like most of my early ledge fishing was Guntersville. And then later on, like college was all pretty much Eufaula when I was at Auburn because it was like 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
But I would go to Pickwick occasionally. We had a bunch of college tournaments out there, probably the same one you were talking about, the collegiate championship or whatever.
Yeah.
So a little bit of experience. I fished there last year in the MPFL. That Lake definitely changed from when I was there in college. They still group up like big time out there, but I know that they have a new nuclear reactor on the lake, or that not on the lake, but generates power, so they don't have to pull nearly as much hydroelectric stuff through that dam as what they once did. Still, they pull a ton of water. So some of the schools, like when they get beat up July, August, instead of them being grouped up like they do in Guntersville, like still pulling a lot of water even in August, they seem to like get more on like isolated cover, really? Like big time. Like there's definitely still some schools, and like they would be around some of the same community hole places that they be on, but they'd be like on stumps and brush and like stuff like that, like, you know, near those places, but not exactly on those places. So,
gotcha. All right, we're gonna take a little pause and do our question of the night. So I've got a good one for you. It's coming straight off the dome. Our friends over at Serve IT, they are our buddy Alan Brooks over there is an awesome guy. They've got an awesome company with Serve IT. He's offering a lot of new, like if you're a young, hungry guy or girl and you want to go learn about this stuff and actually just find a career path. Like if you're looking for a career path, you're driven, you want to learn something new, like Serve IT is the place to go. He is awesome. Go check him out over there with Serve IT. We're lucky enough to have him sponsor the question of the night. They're awesome dude. And he donated last week. Alex, why don't you talk about that this week? Let's
do the question of the night.
Question of the night first, and then we'll touch on that. All right. Question of the night. We're going to get into the comments. I hope y'all are paying attention. I hope y'all are awake. We've been talking a lot of ledge fishing. We've been talking a lot of offshore fishing. We've been talking about Alex back there looking young. So how old is Alex Purrs, the cameraman, the camera guy, the board switcher? Like, how old is he? Because I just found this out tonight. I had no idea. He blew my mind. And first one to get it. What are we giving away, Jake?
We're going to give away a Big Bite and Buckeye prize pack. They were kind enough to give me the AOK and got them some football mop jig. This is just ledge fishing stuff, plus a little bit of I had to throw these in here too. This is the new the new stealth colors.
Okay.
And they're pretty sick.
Yeah, that's awesome. We're gonna have to pull that out.
You can't see it even on the TV, but
that's
awesome.
Gonna be.
So I added that just because we are around some herring. Like everything else is pretty much, fish wherever, but especially ledge lakes. So
that's the question has been won, folks.
And a bunch of Big Bite plastic. So
I'm just gonna let him keep guessing.
He won.
I know. All right, so pull up his comment. 38. This man looks 28. I tell you what, he is. He's doing good. He's doing good.
Yeah,
he's doing good. And his birthday's coming up. What is it? Next Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Happy
so
birthday.
Y'all make sure to wish him a happy birthday next week. All right. Thank y'all for participating. I'm glad all y'all are still watching. I was getting a little worried. The comments have been a little light ski tonight, so I'm just making sure that
everybody's fishing the night tournament.
Everybody's night Durbin. Yeah. Everybody misses old Danny playing with snakes down there in Puerto Rico. I get it. I'm not as pretty as Danny Pruitt, but you know what? I don't look like Danny, and sometimes that's a blessing, and sometimes it's also a blessing. All right, let's keep on going. All right, so Alex, let's talk about your buddy Ryan.
Yeah, okay, let's talk about Ryan. Ryan's doing really, really good. He noticed all the support from the fishing community, and it has driven him really hard. It's motivated him really good to fight. He actually got transferred yesterday to Shepherd Rehabilitation Center in Atlanta, and he sent me a picture today. They've got him sitting upright in a wheelchair. He's wearing his own clothes. He's smiling. He's happy. He's got like a voice box now that he's working with and stuff. So he can't talk still because he's got the vent and he's still got a feeding tube, but he is doing a whole lot better.
That's awesome to hear, man.
Good to hear.
And thank you guys so much for all the support. We've seen so much support. Everybody jumping in this tournament. I still need to jump in that tournament. Don't let me forget to do that tonight. I will do that. I let that get away from me this past week of filming.
Oh, yeah. So our PayPal did get frozen because of the activity. So Nathan is pulling that money from his own personal account and putting it in the GoFundMe.
Okay.
We have changed the registration fees on Tourney X to $0. And we're just asking for a minimum $40 donation to the GoFundMe before you register for the tournament.
Okay.
And once we see a registration, we go back, we check, of course, right? And,
gotcha.
We make sure that you're in there.
So walk me through what I need to do right now on my phone of making this happen so we can support this cause.
So you can either go to my Facebook page. The URL for Ryan is right there, or you can go to the Fatty Yak fundraiser event page, and both links are in there. And we do also have I think we're up to 20 or 21 companies on board. Douglas has donated 3 X-Matrix rods. Cashin's donated a rod. Kayak or Die stepped up. They're going to donate something. Nokwa is donating a power bank. We've
awesome.
got a ton of tackle. Cast donated a pack that's worth more than double the entry fee. It's a hat and some echoes and an OG in there and stuff. So if you want to fish an OG, you might get your chance. We've got a ton of other bait companies that are stepping up, and it's just, we got Catch doing the trophies. So I know at least first through third is going to get a trophy. Die Hard Anglers is doing a pack of his insect repellent wipes for every 10th place, so that not just the top guys are going to win something, or you know what I mean? So every 10th place is going to get a pack of insect repellent wipes, and those things are awesome, man. They work really good. I've got some for myself, and
I probably need to get in on that. All right, so I found it. In just this little bit of time, I found it, and I threw down $50 in there to help go towards this cause. So let's make sure that we're supporting it. But get on there.
Make sure you go over and register for the tournament, though, so you can be in for the giveaways.
Yes,
because if you're not registered for the tournament,
now I need to do that. I'm just going to do it right here, right now, because
it's easy. It's quick.
It's quick. Like we just did it in 2 minutes. All right. So the Fatty Yak fundraiser. If you go on the Fish North Georgia group page, I found it real quick. Nathan Skinner shared it 4 days ago. That was the first thing that popped up. So if you type in Fatty Yak fundraiser on Facebook, it should be the first thing that pops up over there. So now to get in on that tourney registration. So you said, so I clicked on the link, Tourney X leaderboard. Okay. So now I'm on Tourney X.
Yeah, if you don't have a Tourney X account, you're going to have to make one.
Okay.
And then you can register.
Okay. Log in to register. Okay. Got it. Make me do it before I leave.
So, and no, we're not raffling per se. We're not selling tickets.
Okay.
Just make your donation and make an account on Tourney X and register. It's not going to cost you anything to register now. There's no fees for it or anything. So just make your donation.
Perfect.
If you already made a donation, Kevin, I'm pretty sure you did. You can just make a Tourney X account and go ahead and sign up, and that'll get you in the drawing.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It's looking like just about everybody's going to end up winning something.
Sweet.
That's great. And it's at what, $20,000 raised?
Yes. Yeah, Coleman, you're still good. If you signed up before the PayPal got frozen, you're still good. You're still in there. Everything's fine.
Yeah. 20K, bro. That's awesome.
We were at $5,500 last Tuesday, and it's because of you guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you guys for really stepping up in this community. Like, it's awesome to see good people doing good things and trying to support good people. Like, you're all a product of who you surround yourself by. And I'm lucky enough to surround myself with awesome fishermen all over the place. Like, I could be in a random airport in LA, or I could be at the gas station down the road or whatever, and I could run into a fisherman, and just because we know we're both fishermen, we're cool. You know, I could see a guy with his boat on the side of the road with a flat tire. Like, I was leaving Lake Murray and pulled over. I saw a dude with an old Stratus with a flat tire, pulled over and was like, "Hey man, let me help you out." Got his tire changed real quick. Like, because we're bass fishermen.
It's a brotherhood.
Yeah, it really is.
Awesome.
And so, like, all of us stepping up and just trying to help this cause, man, like, that could be your brother. That could be your best friend. It's Alex's best friend. Like, support those who support you. Like, this fishing game, like, yeah, we're all in it to catch fish. We want to fish tournaments and win money, but it's all about the experience. It's all about the dream at the end of the day, man. Like, we're all, if we died tomorrow, like, I want us to know that we were leaving an impact on this world, on this community, and on those around us. So thank you guys so much for stepping up, supporting this. It's going to be a long road. It's not going to be like donate and you're done. Like, we want you guys to support, like in more than just money, you know, like, be there for us, like, be there for those that need it, like, talk about it, send motivating stuff to each other, like, talk to each other. Let's bring each other up. There's enough negativity in this sport that's going around. Let's be the ones that make the change and bring the positive stuff. So I love hearing the positivity. Thank you guys for being awesome in the comments and donating. And just thanks for being in the comments. Like, to have 95 people on here right now tuning in to a live show on a random Tuesday night, like, that's a lot of people. Like, I look at some of these lives of these big podcasts and stuff, and it's not like, we're not that far off. And like, we have a very faithful audience, And like, we really appreciate you guys, because it's something that doesn't get said enough, is like, we're just fishermen having a good time. We're just like you guys. And that's why we just want to, we're dudes being dudes, and we just want to go catch bass and have a good time. So rant over.
And the tournament is a kayak tournament. It's a CPR, catch, photo, release. The only boards that are allowed are a Yak Attack leaderboard or a catch measuring board. It can be their aluminum metal one or their carbonate, the plastic one. Doesn't matter.
Which one do you have?
I have the Yak Attack leaderboard because I dropped my catch board in Lake Lanier and it sank to the bottom like a brick.
I guess you could put a floaty thing on.
Well, the Yak Attack floats, and
Nice.
and it's tethered now too. So,
Nice.
but if you don't have a kayak, man, there's Tony signed up, and he's probably had 20 people offering to let him borrow a kayak so that he could go out for a day and
That's
put
awesome.
up a limit.
That's cool.
We should go out in a little float boat and make something happen.
Let's go, man.
Let's go. We need to make that happen soon. Seriously. Maybe. So the tournament's a month long.
It's
right?
a month long. It started last Friday,
Okay.
and it runs through July the 4th.
Nice.
That's awesome. Let's make some time to do that between here and the 4th.
Let's go. Yeah.
Let's go. All right. So let's get back. Scroll up a little bit before
Yeah,
we
we
got all
gotta
the question of the nights. I feel like we had a couple little good questions in there. If you had to pick, okay, you better be careful with this one. You better be careful with this
I'm
one.
not a good person to ask. I mean, 2-3 hours. I know there's some cool stuff in North Carolina.
There's some
South
cool
Carolina.
stuff in North Carolina. There's some cool ones in North South Carolina. I'll throw a couple little layups out there. I ain't gonna give away the.
I'd probably go
juicy
to
juice.
Cherokee.
Cherokee's a good.
Yeah, like we fished in the open a couple years ago. That place
Yeah.
was pretty sweet. We went in the winter. I wouldn't go like right now, but I'd go maybe wintertime.
The fall, yeah,
fall
wintertime.
or winter. Like I don't know, probably November to around. I think I went in I may have went in April actually. It was just cold when I went.
And like, if you want to go catch some smallmouth, like one of the coolest fisheries that I still have yet to fish is Dale Hollow. Like,
Yeah, I've never been there.
Hanks has been going there, and he's sending me pictures, and I'm just like, I hate you, because that
Yeah.
looks so much fun. It looks so fun, and it's a drive, boys. But like, go up there, like stay for a couple days, like make a trip out of it. Like, I feel like we don't realize how cheap a fishing trip can be. Like, you go like, let's say you fish Lanier every weekend, like in the same amount of gas and stuff you're spending there and all that stuff. Like, if you save up and like lay off a couple weekends or whatever, and then save up and be like, all right, June 25th, I'm going to Dale Hollow for the weekend. Find you a cheap place to stay, go have fun, and go try something different. Go to a different place. Like, branch out,
Go ledge fishing.
Yeah, go ledge fishing on Chick.
Yeah.
Go stay at Talk and Tackle with the boys up there. Save some money, go hang out with Greg, drink some beer. It's good. It's a good time. It's a good place to be. And then you're right there from Chester Frost. You can go bounce around. Another thing too, I want to throw out there, Carl Jocumsen, Bassmaster Elite Series Pro, has a river cleanup going on at the end of this month. So it's going to be June 29th. It's a Sunday. So he is hosting it from 9 to 12, Saudi Daisy Park. And that's a cool event. So what he does is, he's been doing it the past couple of years. You go out, you pick up trash. It's the big community gets together. You go out and you're cleaning up the lake. So the past few years, we've gone out to the lake on Chickamauga. We've all made the event there, and we all clean up, and it's a good time. We've got a insane amount of trash last year. Like, we pulled boats out. We pulled a fish box, somebody's big cheater box they had with freaking holes cut in it and everything. We're like, get that crap out of here. And so what's awesome is now it's not just Chick. He's doing it national. So you can go on there and go to your own lake in your neck of the woods and go participate in this event as well. So it's awesome. Get out there. Like, I always try to keep trash bags in the boat. I'm always like trying to go pick up trash. If I see a can floating, a bottle, whatever, like, do that little bit. Like, yeah, you roll up to the lake, you see so much trash, man. It's sad. It's sad. Like, you let that honey bun wrapper fly out of the boat. I've done it, man. Like, I'm guilty of it. I've let it happen, but like, I've really tried to be better about that lately. Like, let's keep our resource clean. Like, it's already dirty enough. There's enough bad people contributing to it. Let's be the good person that goes and picks up some trash. And like, it's it's awesome to see guys like Carl Jacobson like start this movement. I mean, he's not the first one to start it, obviously, but he's just encouraging and promoting the positivity of like, hey, let's keep this place clean. Let's do something. Like the amount of trash we pulled out of Chickamauga in the matter of a couple hours last year is ridiculous. But if we can have everybody spend a couple hours on their local fishery,
just 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like Farmer said, take 5.
Fill up a trash bag. It does not take long around here. Go down the road. Be careful. I mean, obviously be smart. But like you can go bounce around the lake, fish a little bit. If you see trash, pick up some trash, throw it in the boat.
Scoop it up with the net. I do it all the time, man.
And like it's that little bit that makes a difference. So that is going to be on June 29th, but make it every day. Every time you go out there fishing, pick up some trash. But go support that event. It's a cool event. It's good people doing good things, just like all you guys here at Fish North Georgia. So back to Smalley Lakes, though. Dale Hollow is awesome, obviously. Cherokee's a cool lake. I'll give you a sneaky one. Pickwick, obviously. I'll throw out a sneaky one, Joe Cassie. Joe Cassie in South Carolina.
It was pretty cool.
It's got some dang big brown ones.
Yeah.
And they're like right now is the time to go. If you want to go catch smallies on Joe Cassie, they're eating herring. They're everywhere. They're deep. They're shallow. They're spawning.
I heard Wheeler has smallmouth in it too.
It's got some smallmouth, yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
But there's options. There's options around. If you had to go, there's some in Western North Carolina too. There's some in South Carolina. There's some in East Tennessee. Like, just go bounce around. I mean, look literally online and be like, which lakes have smallmouth in them? Chattooga used to be a hell of a smallmouth lake, and
Blue Ridge too.
Spots got in it. Yep, same with Blue Ridge. Smallies are fun, but spotted bass, they fight hard. They fight hard too.
Yeah,
and they're a good time. Yeah,
I'm to a point with I'm gonna down here to go fish for some, spotted bass, and I'll leave my smallmouth fishing to New York.
Yeah. But that's the smallmouth fishing you really need to go do.
When you live on a lake like Lanier, it's hard to want to go do anything else.
Right.
It is. But like we've been talking about, branch out. All right. Let's get into some more comments. What you got for me, Alex? Jake, when you throw a heavyweight versus a regular sock.
So, and we can throw some fours. We can do that.
Fours.
Throw them four.
I feel like I'm bad with the 4. I'm not cool enough. I'm not cool enough. It's a curl.
What's the 4?
Secret.
What's up with the 4? Because I see the Sandman doing it all the time.
Yeah, you just kind of have to, just kind of brotherhood thing.
Brotherhood.
So what's up? Catch 4-pounders. I got Steve Kennedy to do it. It's pretty cool. Biggest life accomplishment up to this point.
That's pretty good.
So heavyweight sock, I throw it weightless a lot, and I actually do throw it on Carolina rig also, but I throw it weightless a lot on schools. That's a really sneaky kind of bait.
Yeah.
But yeah, I throw it weightless on schools. Like,
so are you rigging it like a fluke, or
rigging it like a fluke? But I throw it on like 20 or 25 pound. The heavier line sinks faster. It has like more drag, so it stays. Your line will actually lay on the bottom, and then you snap your rod tip down. That's the same way I fish the like heavy poop stuff.
Yeah. To what?
The heavy poop, the cover scat, stuff like that.
The cover scat.
Yeah, I'm a big cover scat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I fish the sock mall, the heavy.
Do you like that thing weightless?
Yeah, it's the only way I fish it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You throwing that on like 20, 25 pound and dragging it, or you hopping it?
Snap the rod tip down, same way. Throw it down there, let it sink to the bottom, snap it twice, and the bait will shoot out of the rocks. It's a killer. It is such a good bait.
That is still a crazy bait, but it's cool. It's cool how it catches them, because it does catch them.
Oh yeah, it's again, like I figured that thing out on Wheeler. Like the first time I really caught him on it was at Wheeler. Caught him in the open on it. Caught some. Had a mixed bag, smallmouth and largemouth on that thing. It was caught on a little shell bed, like 6 foot of water, shallow place. Thought I could catch him like on a big crankbait and a big the depths of 4.0. It's very similar to like a striking 8.0, like a huge giant square bill. But like they were not wanting to eat a big square bill that week. Caught them all dragging that thing around. Basically, drag it down there and get it stuck in a rock, and then pop it out of the rock. It looks like a crawfish, and then they're eating shad to the Sakamata, so pretty simple.
I like it. That's a good 1-2 punch for that. Shallow
I got something for you. I'm fishing the KBF National Championship on Guntersville.
Okay.
And the beginning of November.
Okay.
And I'm in a kayak, obviously, but I got a motor and stuff, so I can cover a little bit of water.
Okay.
But like, what's a good area of the lake?
There's like It depends. That place pops off in different sections, but the whole lake is good. There's 30 pounds
Good
to be
answer,
caught in
Jake.
every single part of the lake. But if I like all rids. If I'm going to be in a kayak, all rids, there's a ton of stuff to fish right there. All rids, and then Seabold. If I had to pick one to go frog, it'd be all rids though, just because it's got a ton of islands, got a ton of little ditches and creek channels and stuff.
It's got a lot of options.
A lot of options. And the cool thing about the kayak is, or I would go across from waterfront, like directly across from waterfront where all the islands are over there.
Okay.
There's some good mats over there, good millful this year over there. But the cool thing about a kayak is you can actually get a little bit further than I can in my boat, and that is going to be the time to go frog and flip. Is November. Early November?
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be insane.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
Frog and flip. And then usually the mats get way smaller that time of year, so that they'll group up like crazy under mats. Like you may go catch 20 on a frog out of one mat. Like literally sit in one spot and catch them just throwing a frog and flipping big weight.
It's fun. I'm excited.
Pretty
I've never
sweet.
been, so
yeah, that'll be a good time.
Yeah.
All right, Andy Anderson. Anything you can share with the high schoolers that makes Auburn one of the top college programs?
Yeah, just it was really cool because it was all like student run. We got a little bit of money from the school, but it wasn't much really to do much. And we had, when I was on the team, there was 102 guys on the bass team. So a ton of guys, ton of people that fished. Not everyone had a boat, obviously. But with that many guys, we made it work. We had fall qualifiers that made us super competitive. We had really good leadership. Logan Parks was our president at the time when I was up there. So the cool thing about not having a coach and being all like student run was that we were able to learn the business side of fishing early on.
100%.
And, negotiate deals with sponsors, is
it still that way?
Yeah, still that way. So get the money to go fish for school. I think the year that I was there, we raised over $100,000 in sponsor money to go fish. And that was how we got to go fish everything. And it kind of taught you like budgeting and everything, how to go do it. Cause it was our money that we had raised. So, if you're going to be try to pursue pro fishing as a career, that's a good place to learn as college. And it doesn't matter what college you get to, you're going to learn a bunch fishing all these different places. But
you'll learn about money and how much you miss it. How much you miss having it.
No doubt. So
that's awesome.
That was pretty cool fishing for Auburn. And I just, there's a ton of different lakes around Auburn too. And that, Lake Martin, Lake Eufaula, Harding, West Point, Coosa River.
And talk about what's it like being on a team like Auburn as far as the diversity of students? You got people coming up from all over just to go there. If I'm from West Virginia and I want to go fish at Auburn, what's going to make me be 8-10 hours from home?
Yeah. So the cool thing about Auburn is that year we had a lot of incentives. That was the first year we kicked off the YouTube for actual, had a video guy follow us around all the college tournaments. And the incentive of that was a lot of their guys were, getting older, wanting to pursue fishing as a career. So that YouTube was a huge thing to kind of get your name out there as a college team. And we did kind of our top 5. So we did fall qualifiers. The top 5 out of those qualifiers basically got first round pick to which tournaments they wanted to go to. And then they also got all of the gear that the sponsors would give us, free rods and reels, line, lure, whatever. The top 5 teams would get that first, and then we would distribute it throughout the rest of the team. So that was really cool. And we had in that top 5 year that I was there at Auburn, it was me and my brother, another 2 guys from Alabama, Logan and Tucker from Alabama, but guys from California, guys from Zimbabwe, and a guy from Canada, all in that top 5. So really diverse, group of people. And it's really cool fishing with guys from California and guys from New York and guys from Canada, learning how to smallmouth fish with them and that kind of stuff. So they're still some of my best friends today, and I still learn a ton from them. How they break down a lake, is different than how I might. So
when you start getting these different regions into the same room, you're hanging out with the boys, you're in a fishing meeting, whatever. It's cool to be able to you've got a smallmouth guy, you've got a grass flipping guy, you've got this, like we're all good at something, right?
Yeah.
Or we all are confident in something.
Yeah.
And it's like, so once you start to build your confidence baits, like let's say each angler has their own 5 confidence baits. Well, if you set a group of 10 college anglers and they're all going to have different answers for their top 5.
Yeah, for sure.
But then, so you put somebody's top 5 next to somebody else's top 5 and they go fishing together, they're going to start to learn from each other and blend those techniques. So that's what's awesome about college fishing is like just learning that diversity, learning like it's so much more efficient because you're learning information at a faster rate because you have this person's experience combined with this person's experience, and you're just getting that information faster and just learning and growing and having a dang good time.
Yeah, no, I had some of the best times ever fishing college, even when we didn't catch them, like it was just like cool going out, like we're some random lake we never heard of before and we're at a college tournament, and like it was a lot of fun. So
yeah. And I met some of my best friends ever. Like I still fish with Jacob Silver that I fished with in college. Like I bought my first boat from my old college fishing partner, Lance. Like there's so like the history that I feel like we built in just a few short years of being in college fishing. Like it has evolved so much since we've been in it, dude. Like we've only been out of it, 4 or 5 years, like not that long. And it has changed so much. Like I went to the ACA on Hartwell and like, it has changed a lot. The boats look a lot different. The boats look a lot newer.
Yeah.
Like I had the old 88 Ranger with the Johnson GT that stood for get the truck on the back of it. And it was sitting there go, like I remember tournaments
coming out.
Yeah. But the thing is it's evolving. Like people have more options, more resources, but you still see those old beaters out there too.
Yeah, for sure. That's the cool thing about college fishing too. And then, going to a school that had the options of like, oh, my boat's broke down. There's someone else on the team that's willing to, like so many times somebody's boat would break down at Harris Chain and another dude on the team would drive his boat down there to Harris Chain for them to be able to use it. Like, it's really cool, like the kind of brotherhood of everything like that. One thing I'll say about Auburn too that was really cool, not having a coach, is like the top 5 guys, got to fish everything. But that didn't mean that just because the top 5 guys, were on the top 5, didn't mean that the guys who didn't make the top 5 didn't get to fish. Everyone got their room paid for if they wanted to go. So that gave a ton of opportunities. A lot of schools that gave, no, you two are going to fish together, even if they may not, don't want to fish together. They have to go fish tournament together on a place that they don't want to go to or like they can't go to.
Yeah.
There's tons of dudes that would just kill for the opportunity to go, and they just can't at schools that, have, a coach like that. We would pay for everyone's hotel. And then if you had,
that's awesome.
We did a percentage basically. If you were to like the top 10% of our guys that went to a tournament, we paid for all their expenses. So
like that is huge.
Yeah. So like you got rewarded on your performance.
The better you are,
we didn't want you to not be able to have the opportunity to go fish. And it was also too, it's like, there's some guys that catch them fish better in the fall.
Yeah.
And you may have slipped. And that was that was the most insane competition I've ever had, was the Auburn qualifiers.
Really?
Anything I've ever fished in my life. NPFL, Bass Opens, the biggest competition I've ever had was that top 5. I mean, top
That's
5
wild.
on it was Logan Parks, Tucker Smith, me and my brother. A couple other guys are fishing the opens right now, trying to make it. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, we'd fish against Rob G, or go fish against John Garrett, like cool stuff like that, and it's kind of cool coming full circle. Cool to see who you're fishing against. So,
and those guys are freaking awesome, and it's cool. It's cool to see like the camaraderie between them now. Like now that they're all out of college, right?
Yeah.
And that they're hanging out, they're rooming together, they're rocking and rolling on the road on the biggest stage in bass fishing. But it's like but they didn't forget about the homies that they fished with in college.
Yeah,
either.
for sure.
Just because they're hanging out and rooming together with them on the Elite Series doesn't mean they forget about all their boys that they fish with in college.
Yeah,
they still go fishing with them. They still hang with them. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Like Rob G will hang out with me sometimes too. And I'm like, bro, we just met at a college tournament, and I'm like, I'm a nobody, dude. But it's fun to go hang out with these guys because they are the real deal. They're good dudes, and we're all bonded by bass fishing at the end of the day. So, wrapping up on that question of like why go to Auburn, it's like go where you feel the most comfortable. Go explore campus. Like I got lucky that the first campus I rolled up on at Western Carolina, I absolutely fell in love with it. And that was exactly what I was like, this is where I want to go. I applied to like all these other colleges and I was like, no, this is the place. And keep in mind, I didn't know what tournament fishing was when I applied to college. Now, all these kids that like are watching these videos, growing up and fishing and all this stuff, like you guys are at such an advantage. Like I had no idea, man. Like my school did not do any funding. We could not, they wouldn't let us raise our own money. We couldn't do any fundraisers. So we fished one tournament a year out of pocket. And like we only had 6 boats on our team of 30 guys. Like it was tough. It was a grind. But that's changed a lot. Like it has evolved a lot. Like you don't have to spend that money out of pocket. Like I was trying to film drone videos and weddings and stuff just to try to pay my entry fees to be able to like go. And like, so the opportunities at these schools is awesome. Like being able to have travel expenses covered and things like that. It's good, but and it's just an awesome opportunity to put you in the right places to learn these diverse fisheries if you want to fish on the next level and work your way up. It's the gateway to getting you there, but don't let it scare you that you have to go to college fishing. There's a lot of guys exploring different routes to the opens, the nations, fishing these local tournaments and like getting that experience. And like, you also have to learn the value of $1 too. Like you don't want to get stuck in this, everybody's taking care of things. And then all of a sudden I'm trying to go fish the opens on my own and I run broke after 2 tournaments. Like you don't want to do that either. So go to college, don't go to college. I don't care. Just go bassing, learn, and don't be afraid to fail either. Like that's the biggest thing is being scared of failure. You're not going to keep on growing. Like you got to fall down, get back up, keep on going. Like it's a good time. Fishing's cool, man. Enjoy it. Let's get into some more comments. What we got? Throw me up. No, y'all haven't talked about it before, but I tried out the Cast OG this weekend for the first time with no luck. Any tips on working the bait? I think I might know a guy. All right. I throw the Cast OG a lot. You guys that have watched the show know that I throw a lot of cast stuff and they're awesome dudes over there and they make a really cool bait. So the OG is the OG for a reason. It was like one of the first baits that they made for GT. So you got to keep in mind, this is saltwater bait. It's not your sexy dog. It's not a walking bait. It's not a mega dog, whatever. It is a saltwater stick bait. It is made to be thrown on a big old spinning rod and for GTs catching them on the Great Barrier Reef. And that's what it was originally intended for. Now we have shrunk it down a little bit. We're throwing it on a bait caster. We're throwing it on 30-pound braid. I've got it on a medium heavy 7-foot top hammer from Alpha Angler. And I've got 30-pound braid to a 20-pound fluorocarbon leader right now. And I'm throwing the 20-gram. So with the OG, that's the setup. You've got it. I'm rolling up on linear. I'm rolling up on a brush pile. I either had side scanned and marked the brush pile like we were talking about last week, or I see it on forward-facing sonar. I'm trying to get as far away from that brush pile as I can. The beauty of the OG, it's made out of balsa. It's heavy. You can bomb that thing 150 feet, 180 feet. If you get the wind at your back, like you can bomb that thing as far as you can. So you want to bomb it out there. What I like to do after I bomb it, I let it sit there for a second. It's kind of like a popper where you let the ring settle. I like to do that unless there's schooling. That's a little different. We'll get there. If I'm throwing it over a brush pile, I'm trying to throw past the brush pile as far as I can, 20, 30 foot past the brush pile, letting it settle and just letting it come into that brush pile. So what I'm doing, I'm fishing on a fast reel, 8-1, and I'm going to give it 3 quick turns of the reel, right? And so what that does is that bait with fluorocarbon is going to bite down and do an S kick and pop back up and sit there. I like a feathered treble on the back, another little nuance to it. I don't know if it makes a difference. Maybe it does, but in my eyes, I like it. Okay. So that bait's going to sit there, pop up, and then you hit it with 3 more reel turns. It's going to bite back down, come back up. Right. So that's a principle of what you want to do with an OG. So you're giving it fast and then stopping it, giving it fast, stopping it, giving it fast, stopping it. Here's the thing. You got to feel what the fish are feeling. You got to see how they're reacting to it. If they're coming up under it and then it stops and then they go down and then you hit it again and they run up under it again, start working it a little bit faster. Give a little less pause in between it. If they are coming up to it like crazy and then just peeling off and not coming back, that's when you're going to like try to change up your colors a little bit, or like you can start hitting it, walking it. There's so many different things you can do. You can do 5 different retrieves and 5 different casts with an OG on the same exact setup, same exact line, everything. You can try something different. It does walk. It's not a walking bait, right? But it's another thing you can vary up in a retrieve. Let's say you hit it with a couple reel turns and then you walk it a couple times and then you hit it with another reel turn. Get those fish fired up. They're spotted bass, like they're fast, especially on the near. They want it fast. They want it moving, but don't be afraid to slow down at the same time if they're not reacting to the speed. If they're not committing with that speed, then slow it down, speed it up. The biggest thing is be open-minded, and every pile is different. You can pull up on one pile, they're set up in the top of it, foaming at the mouth for a bait, and as soon as you splash into the water, they're already coming up. So basically, when I'm casting past that brush pile, I don't necessarily want the fish to react until that bait is entering over the top of that brush pile. Now, sometimes you'll cast just past the brush pile, or let's say you make a bad cast, because we all do it, and you smack on top of the brush pile and they start coming up. I'm not letting the ring settle if that's the case. If those fish are starting to come up to it, I'm pulling it away from them, cat and mouse, playing that game. Another way you can fish that bait is on straight fluorocarbon, straight 20-pound. So I do that a lot, especially in the later summer when they're kind of being a little bit more finicky and not as fired up. So when I'm throwing it on straight 20-pound, same rod, same everything, Alpha Angler top hammer, bombing it out there, I'm reeling up my slack and I'm doing a sweep with the rod. So I'm sweeping with the rod tip down, doing a sweep. What that's doing is doing that S, but since you're on fluorocarbon, you're doing 2 S's instead of 1, like the braid deleter. So it just kind of gives it a little bit more time in the water and time to develop a little bit more of a bubble trail so those fish can dial in, follow it, track that bubble trail down, and annihilate that OG. So that's fishing structure with the OG. Now, my favorite way to fish it is when I see them bass busting on some herringe.
Yeah, that's what I like to do.
That's the best bite. It's so much fun. Other than I did see a pretty fun bite this past weekend of glides on schooling fish, which I thought was pretty badass. But the OG, it's the glide bait of topwaters. We call it that all the time because it is a balsa bait. It's a premium bait. It costs some money, but it can get the bites that those standard walking baits don't get. You can get that fish to fire up and go blast that thing out of the water that might not have gone after the same walking bait they've seen 200 times on linear. So if you see them busting herring out of the water, you can bomb it. You can reach those fish that are super far away. And as soon as you hit that school, I have a video. I was fishing with Kaz a couple weeks ago, and it was literally like bait hits the water, and it's like shark had it like within, I think it was like a second and a half before I had a spotted bass on there. Like it can be so fun, and they blew up like 120 foot from the front of the boat. Like you can have so much fun with that bait. So bombing it into schooling fish, you're wanting to keep that speed, getting it away from there, hitting them as fast as possible. 5 seconds or less from them coming up, you want to be in there. If it's later than that, it's going to be real hard to call them up. It's going to be real tough. And then bounce around, fish fast, go cover some water. And that's the cast OG. It's a cool bait. They make a 20 gram, a 30 gram, a 40 gram, but mainly we're sticking with a 20 gram because we found that's just the all around best size. And just production wise, it makes sense to like find that bread and butter and roll with it. And that 20 gram has been the sweet spot. So if y'all have any OG questions, shoot me a message on the Instagrams too. I'm happy to answer them. Their customer service is great. Ryan Hanks is awesome on the phones with customer service as well, but don't be scared to shoot me a message on Instagram. And same thing, shout out to Tyler Toms. He reached out to me last week after we kind of talked about some audio stuff. And I was just like, don't be scared to reach out to me. Shoot me a message, dude. I'm just a camera guy. I've got a phone. Talk to me. Like I'm down to talk to anybody. I'm not scared of a stranger. Like if you got questions about anything, whether it's fishing, camera gear, cast OGs, echoes, whatever it is, like whatever you got a question on it, or what I like to eat for dinner, like I don't care. I'll talk to you about it, whatever it is.
If you had to pick one colorway for the OG, what's it going to be?
One colorway for the OG is probably going to be Bankroll Reflection Series. So we just came out with the Reflection Series a couple months ago. And so basically it's all the same pretty colors, but we added like a reflective strip to the outside.
That
And
would
for
look
these,
pretty sick.
like
It
for
looks
these
good.
herring lakes, like having a little bit of extra flash, and it adds some texture to the bait a little bit because it's balsa and with the wrap on it. And it's like, it adds a little bit more texture. We added the 3D eyes last year just to make it a little bit more premium. And like, I really think it makes a difference. If it doesn't, it looks cooler in my opinion.
Yes.
But I would go with bankroll. So like when you're thinking about conditions, right, you're looking at, are you fishing for herring fish or are you fishing for largemouth? I took that Reflection Series bankroll and went and caught largemouth on it in Texas, had almost 25 pounds, like in literally a couple of hours with my buddy. Jerry DeMarco, shout out to him. We had a blast on the water. One of the 5-pounders I caught had a 9-inch catfish down his throat. And I had to know because all I saw was his tail. And I was like, bro, I'm sorry, but I got to know what this is. Like, I thought it was a big gizzard. Yeah. Like, because all I saw was the tail, and I pull it out, and it's like a 9-inch catfish. I was like, that's wild. 5-pounder. But yes, I like, colors. Sorry. Bankroll is an awesome one. River Gray is good. It's not the standard Carolina Chrome we all think of, but I think it's good because it gives them a little bit darker of a presentation that still it still has the flash, but they can still key in on it. With Chrome, a lot of times you run into them missing the bait. Like you can have one blow up on it over and over and over again and miss it. I think it gives them a little bit more of like a matte finish so they can kind of key in on that bait. When it's cloudy, I like bone or herring. You can't go wrong with a good color. I would say get you a sunny day, get you a cloudy day, and call it good. Like go play with it, figure it out. Like don't get frustrated with the bait. There's some days that I'll go out there with an OG and not get a single bite on it. And there's some days that the next day you can go out and catch the biggest bag of your life on it. So be optimistic with it. Throw it into, like, if you really want to get confidence in it, if a fish comes up school and throw it into there, and you'll start to gain confidence to call those fish up with it as well. But all right, let's see what else we got. Where would you fish and what would you through next weekend on Gville to catch a ton of 14 to 15-inch bass? I'm leaving that up to you, dog.
Yeah, so Allred's is another great area. Across from Waterfront's a really good area. But to be completely honest with you, anywhere where there is grass, which is anywhere that's on Guntersville less than probably 10 foot.
You got to get a little more anywhere. Like,
there is right now in Guntersville, you can catch like 17 pounds off the dock. Like you literally can.
Yeah.
Like, throwing a chatterbait anywhere shallow right now, especially if any like main river kind of humps and like shallow flats, you can reel that thing around in a little chatter wagon, and it is insane right now. You can catch a lot of bass. I haven't been there in I think last time I was there, I fished a tournament May 17th out there. So
gotcha.
Not fished a man. It was the food land tournament, like big local derby they have out there. 3 fish and tons of guys caught them shallow. Like guys that are catching like 60 fish a day shallow.
That's wild.
So
hopefully that's still holding up for you.
Yeah.
There. But good luck out there. All right. What else we got? Throw some love out there. Yeah. Wu-Tang fan.
What's up, Wu-Tang?
864. I love it. I love it, dude. We love you. Yeah, that's a fact.
It actually is true, but
that's a fact. I mean, yeah. I think you did good.
I did good.
You did good.
I did good.
Logan did good. I guess there is a trend here. There's a trend.
Yeah, minimal. Jesse Pratt the third, JP3.
Where's he at?
He's at the bottom. J-Man get minimal details.
Yep.
I give a good bit of details. If you want all the details, though, book a trip.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, right? Yeah. Like we're here to send you in the right direction.
Yeah.
We want to give some tips. I'll give out a lot more stuff that I know because I'm just a camera guy, man. I'm just a camera guy. But when you're guiding and you have this intellectual property, like you have to be able to respect that too. It's like, I'll tell you what's going on, but like if you throw it out there and everybody starts doing it, then it's not the same, you know? Like, I mean, I don't know.
No, I tell the truth on everything pretty much. I just don't like talking about dice baits just yet.
Fair enough.
Just yet.
Fair enough.
I'll talk about them later. I'll come on a podcast and do a whole dice episode.
We'll do a dice episode.
Give it a year. Give it a year.
I like it. Hopefully you'll have a cool dice to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Give it a year. But back to what you're talking about, that the different like chromes and stuff, like having one that's not a true like bright chrome.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually got a color coming out with IMA. So everyone knows the IMA skimmer. Everyone knows the IMA little stick. But the cool thing about IMA is, a lot of their stuff has been not discontinued, but hard to get and just out of stock for literal years. We got a full shipment of everything coming to a bunch of different retailers around here. So chrome skimmers are coming next week for everyone that is fishing Lake Lanier and any herring lake. Chrome skimmers are coming next week. The first week of July or second week of July, my signature color is coming out, and it is a variation of chrome. It's going to be a kind of a darker back, but kind of like you were talking about, not that it's still a bright chrome, but it transitions to almost like the OG chrome, where it's like a little bit lighter on the belly. But on the sides, it's going to be a almost turquoise kind of green, just like a blueback herring, kind of like that kind of like bluish green. And we're calling it Chattahoochee Chrome. So
I like it.
Pretty sick name.
That's legit.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. So
that's legit.
We should be getting them here. I'm gonna get mine.
Catching them on all Hoochie Chrome.
Yeah,
son.
Hoochie Chrome. That was the only issue we had with that, was fitting it on a barcode. Yeah, go in a tackle store. But I think we can get it. It'll go to Hooch Chrome, or we're gonna call it Chattahoochee Chrome because that's just a sick name. So
that will be sweet. LCC. That's sweet. That's exciting, dude.
Yeah, I'm excited. That was the first color I've ever designed for anybody. So
it's awesome.
Cool that it was with a Japanese company.
Yeah, dude, that's an awesome thing, and that's something that all you guys are probably going to be wanting to.
Yeah, I know everyone's going to go. We're going to have a line out the door. All these tackle shops around here for the chrome. So chrome, just even the normal chrome.
So you said first, second week of July, be looking out
for Chattahoochee Chrome, and then next week. Actually, no, this week. They're arriving in California this week. So, and this week, Friday maybe, or Monday next week, be on the lookout for normal chrome. So
that'll be exciting.
I'm a pin jack.
Will Tackle Warehouse have them?
What's that?
Tackle Warehouse have them?
Oh yeah. Skimmer Grande is coming back also. So a very sought after bait that goes for crazy amounts on eBay is about to be back in stock.
How big is it? 6 inches or?
It's just like that big. It's just a lot wider. So it's got a little bit more presence in the water. It's almost like a good in between, because sometimes the skimmer's just a little too finessey. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's exciting, man. And like innovation is still happening, man. Like people are still trying to make the next best thing. I know everybody got sour at ICAST because they're like, it's just minnows. Dude, there is so much cool stuff going on in the industry right now. Like it is an awesome place to be, with people having new ideas. Like there's new ideas coming, which is exciting, because like sometimes we get thinking like, oh, everything's the same, everybody's just copying each other. No, there's still completely new innovative ideas out there. And like look at some of these smaller companies, man. Like some of the smaller companies are doing a really good job of like thinking outside the box and prototype testing and doing all this stuff. Like spending time with Clutch this past weekend, I was seeing stuff I've never seen before or even thought about. And it's like, it's cool to see companies still innovating, still trying to be different, and they're not trying to rip each other off. They just want to make something cool and be like, hey, this is a concept. I want to make it better, and I want to make it cool. I want to make it look good. I want to make people want to fish it. Because like, if your bait doesn't look good, or you don't like that bait, or it's not something new, like there is something about like you just bought a new bait or you just got a prototype. You want to fish that thing and only that thing.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's like, if we all stopped innovating and just kept throwing the same stuff, like we'd all be bored. We'd all get bored. We all got a little bit of that ADHD in us, like
no doubt.
You'd get bored if it didn't look the same. So like keep innovating. Like it's awesome to see these new colors, these new collabs, things like that going on.
It's really cool to have a bait company that'll take your input and give you a signature color.
Definitely.
It's got to be a good feeling.
Yeah, no doubt. It's definitely cool working with those guys. This is my first year with them, and it's been nothing but the best. Honestly, one of the best relationships I have. Sponsor wise, like they do awesome stuff. And
that's awesome, man.
So does Big Bite. They make some incredible stuff, and it's really cool stuff. But like I was saying earlier, like we're in a renaissance period with baits. You know, like we're at such like a like caveman era of forward facing. Like,
oh yeah.
Like we're just now figuring out. Like I mean, have you seen the new police crankbait? It's legit.
Really?
Yeah, it's not a sponsor bait of mine. It's you guys make Tiny Clash like so DRT. So the police is a crankbait that will go to 40 foot deep, and it isn't like makes a 10XD look like a pipsqueak.
Yeah,
I mean, it is a dog. Like it tugs back when you throw it. But like, dude,
we haven't thought about that.
What's that?
Like we haven't thought about.
Yeah,
that.
Like I never really thought I needed a
cruising the tops of timber with that.
Yeah,
thing.
I need like a giant crankbait, or like you can use any bait with forward facing, just about, except for extreme cover scenarios, and even then, like who knows what we can figure out, down the road. So. That's pretty cool, but if you don't like it, you can just turn it off and catch them because bass fishing is sick. So
yeah, bass fishing is awesome. It doesn't matter if you have 37 transducers or you're on the bank, walking the bank, catching a trout. Like it doesn't matter what you're doing. Like we all find our way to scratch that itch of catching a fish, dude. Like it's cool.
Yeah, you know what I wish the elite rule would do next year? Like they went to one transducer this year for us for on the opens and the elites and 55 inches. I wish they would do it like Wild West, like put whatever you want on there, but also let us do like jet boats. That would be so sick. Like where guys were allowed to like switch boats and like
to where it was just unlimited technology,
but also unlimited like what allowed them to put like a crane, like not a crane, but like a pulley system, like to pull yourself into ponds.
Yeah.
Like let's let both sides have like the best of the best technology.
Yeah.
That would be super sick. And then also like go to like scheduling, like let's go to St. Clair and, with scope, but also let's go to Red River. Like, let's go to some Alabama River.
I do think they've done a really good job with the schedule this year.
Yeah, they definitely did. Yeah.
I mean, as far as like make it as even of a playing field as possible, everybody's being like, oh, we're still getting one on scope. No, dude, like look at that top 10.
But so is everything.
Like,
like right now, but we're also this is the best time it will ever be.
Yeah.
Live scoping, like fish, unpressured fish.
It's only going to get
like
tougher.
Figuring out how to ledge fish back in the day when there was no such thing as side scan. You found these fish out in the middle of the lake and then they just bit. Like we're at that point, and now you go to Guntersville and it's tough to get them to bite. Like, there's different techniques and different whatever you can get them to trigger.
But it's not easy.
It's not easy. Fishing looks good on paper and on Instagram, but fishing's tough most of the time. Like it's tough, but there's something about it that makes us want to keep coming back. So, getting that bite. So,
hell yeah. Well, all right, boys, we've been grinding. It's all about that time. If y'all got anything else, throw it in the comments. But we're probably gonna start to wrap this thing up. So Danny's in Puerto Rico. Danny Conda is out there playing with some snakes and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So pray for him. Like if you're not praying for Danny before, he's handling snakes right now, which we need to pray for more than we normally do.
They're bigger than he is.
Yeah, a lot bigger.
Yeah, and so be thinking about him and wishing him safe travels. That 40-foot crank was the DRT police. If you're fishing Lanier tomorrow with no electronics, what's your pattern? What are you trying to do?
100% would be brim beds. We're on a full moon right now. This is actually a strawberry moon.
Yes, and it is tonight, right?
I believe so. Tonight's tonight. Yeah. And the brim are going to be like bluegills, backs of coves, anywhere there's hard bottom, which Lanier has a ton of.
Yeah.
Troll motor on 10, look for them. I love fishing bluegill beds. It's one of my favorite things to do, but I almost fish them kind of like I fish brush piles in a sense that I'm running and gunning them. I'll go into pockets, search for a bunch of them, and maybe find 5, 10, 15 of them. And I'll go in there and make a couple casts on them and then roll to the next one. My, baits of choice. Number one, I really like to throw a frog, like first and foremost, even though there's no grass or anything. I like to skip it up under rocks, lay downs, trees, anything like that.
Yeah.
But the main thing I go with that instead of a popper is because I can skip it, one, and then two, if I throw a popper, I'm going to catch a bluegill every time. Like gonna catch a bluegill on the feather of my popper. So that and wacky worm, and then a depth bull shooter is just a big glide. Big brim glide bait. Those are the 3 baits I throw pretty much for that. And then I'd also go up the river and just get boat docks. Like you can catch a ton of spots doing that. So
you're looking for like the surface of the moon on your side scan, right? Just
yeah,
craters
side scan,
everywhere.
yeah. Now you can turn all that stuff off and just use your eyes and then figure out which brim boats are hot. That's a big largemouth pattern, but spotted bass definitely eat brim too, especially especially you may think of Lanier as like Herring Lake, and they definitely is, but there's times when they roll up shallow, and when they do, it's usually around full moon. So. Yep.
Go fish shallow. Go cranking and yanking out there and go catch some bass. It's fun. What frog you like?
Depths Buster K. It's a different frog than a lot of people don't say. A lot of people say spro frog or no frog, but I like the Buster K because it's small, compact. It's a little popping frog, and it's cool because it has rabbit fur legs. And rabbit fur is usually pretty lucky. And that rabbit fur that gets wet, it adds a little bit of weight, so it's real small and compact. But you can throw it a mile. And I actually throw it like a little bit lighter of a frog rod just for like what we're doing because we're not like true frogging. We're just basically throwing a popper with 2 big hooks.
Soft body popper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
fun.
That was my favorite frog.
Thanks, Kevin. You rock. Hope you're doing good. Miss you. Want to see you soon. You gave Randy Blockett something to talk about.
He has one of my favorite fishing quotes, though. I will say that. Randy Blockett was sick back in the day. I don't know about right now, but like you can say whatever you want about him, but he was sick back in the day.
What's the quote?
He said something. It was like creativity will trump experience any day on the water. So like being creative with baits and patterns, and like to think about like outside the box, like how to fish. It was something along those lines, but it was pretty cool.
But the thing is you have to be on the fly. You have to be creative when you're out there because like it's easy to get stuck on this is the deal. Like this is what went down in practice. Like this is going to work.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the amount of times I've like looked at my box and I'm like, whatever speaks to me, I need to throw.
Yeah.
And I'll put a freaking green pumpkin crawl on a black and blue jig and I'll just be like, oh, that does not look right. But then you flip it once and you get bit. You're like, okay, it doesn't matter if it doesn't look right.
Exactly.
Or you run out of something or one color and then you put something else on and it still works. Like, don't overthink it. It's easy. We all overthink things a lot in this game, but
no doubt.
But man. Well, thanks for coming out, Alex. Thanks for running the boards, crushing it. Thank you all for everybody that donated. Thank you all for just supporting the show, supporting the community. Reach out if you need anything. Hit us up. Let us know how we're doing. Let Danny know that he needs to hurry home so I'm not having to take over the show because I definitely like the old co-angler Cletus over here on the side of the boat. I don't like running the trolling motor on this thing as much, but it's fun. It's a good time. But thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to check out all of the awesome people that support this show and go on a guide trip. Check out Bass and Bros too.
Yeah. Lake Lanier. I'll go anywhere in Alabama too. I'm also doing some student angler stuff. So basically, it's gonna be discounted prices for anglers, and it's student anglers. And so instead of like hey, let's go, this is where you're gonna win the tournament, that kind of stuff. Like that, I fished in high school, and that kind of got old. You guys, buying spots, that kind of stuff. But giving the anglers the right tools to learn how to find fish, helping them like break down lakes, that kind of stuff. That's kind of like what I really would like to do. Leave an impact a little bit. And, I wish there was something like that when I was in high school. And I'm going to do discounted prices, for student anglers. So it'd be a little bit cheaper. And then if you want to go learn how to do a different technique, even if it's out of state, I'm willing to travel too. So
that's awesome. And plug how we contact you again.
Yeah. So Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, anything like that. It's all jmad_fishing. And then my phone number is 205-451-2895. So you can talk to me also just on bassandbros.com. So my website needs to be updated a little bit, but you can still find me on that. My prices and everything are different now on my website, but I need to get that updated like this week. So
he'll get it figured out. Thank y'all so much. It's 10 o'clock. Cletus needs to go to bed. We all need to go to bed.
Yes, sir.
Y'all have a good night. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you guys.
Woo.